I don't think he said he was attractive. He said he's not attracted to him anymore. That doesn't mean that he's not attractive.
We're all going to look like a shriveled raisin in a few years. And what a shame when you look left and right and you've got nothing because you wanted to be Peter Pan instead of being like, that's my man. Familia, welcome back. I'm your host, Francisco Gomez, and you are watching The Progressing Male. Here we are breaking down the stereotypes that men cannot communicate, that we can't access our emotions, and all that outdated BS. The era of the gentleman is not over, and hopefully through our topic-led discussions, we can break down these outdated presumptions and stereotypes about men. Now, our mission is still the same. We are here to cancel culture. We ain't having it.
At all.
If we say something wrong or if you disagree with us, don't cancel us. Please teach us. Sound off of the comments below, whether it's IG or YouTube, and help us. We are teachable and we are so down for you to start the conversation with us. I promise you, we are all willing, able to grow. I promise you, open minds and open hearts here. Now, you heard me say we. That's because I'm not alone. I've got my two progressors with me. I've got to my right, the multi-talented 𝗣𝗿cie𝗴𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗲.
Come on now, talk to me. Chocolate and that. Get me?
And then everyone's favourite ginger. That's me. 𝗣𝗿cie𝗴𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗲.
Hola, amigos.
Boys, how are we?
Beautiful, you know.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Oh, we love that.
Yeah, we're happy to be here with you, Cisco, once again.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are really nice to me. They're usually really horrible to me.
Don't try.
I'm joking.
Don't lie.
That's a lie.
Don't lie.
That's a lie. Okay. In all seriousness, hi, welcome.
Yep.
But today we are going to be agony aunts. It's one of those episodes again where we are trying to help someone in the internet go through it.
So you've got something.
A problem that we hopefully have a solution for.
Kane, you're going first.
All right. Buckle up, boys. You ready?
Right. Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, the internet has spoken.
Right.
And now it's our time to help. The story is, my husband and I have hit a wall in our relationship. I'm male, 33, and he is male, 39 years old.
Okay.
We have been together for 16 years, and 9 of those years have been married. 4 years ago, though, my husband approached me about opening the relationship. Oh, yes. I wasn't surprised as throughout the relationship, we have allowed a third person to join us sexually in the bedroom here and there. But also, just to give you a little more context, my husband revealed to me around the same time that sometimes he doesn't feel sexually attracted to me anymore. The silence is deafening. Okay. He goes to say, this obviously hurt my feelings, but I operate more with my brain and not my emotions. We've been dating for a long time. Things change. Shit happens. The problem, I think, is that the places we socialize in are full of temptation, full of sex, and drugs. I feel like our relationship has been sucked into the stereotypical gay way of living. Party most weekends, take the tops off in the club, get off your face, and then I sit back and watch my man put more effort into a stranger than to me and our relationship. Don't get me wrong, I am not a saint. I too sometimes engage with another man. But I've realized that I'm now only getting to see these parties or go to these parties to entertain and appease him. I don't want to do this anymore. I am tired and I don't want to seem like a party pooper. I just want structure in my relationship. And most importantly, I want my husband back. I don't think I can keep up with this lifestyle any longer.
Ooh.
Okay.
As I said, Kane, you're first.
Well, let me give you some context, especially
Okay, go on.
for
Yeah.
anyone who's of the straight and narrow. When he says the gay stereotype, there's these certain parties where most of the men look the same because they're very gym heavy, very gym conscious, and they're all topless. Yes, they do a bit of this and that.
It's in West Hollywood.
West Hollywood has it, the WeHo lights, but you know, it's circuit parties and stuff like that. And not everyone, by the way, in these circles are like that, but what it is...
You're just describing what he was describing.
Yes, exactly, just to give you context.
Yeah.
And so imagine like a pool of like 500 to 1,000 men, all topless, all ready to do it, and most of them are in relationships, but you wouldn't think so if you're an onlooker because they're all kissing and sexing up each other, and it's just a free-for-all, right? From someone who has gone to those parties but doesn't contribute to that lifestyle, what I see is a lot of happiness. But what I also see is a lot of men in relationships who are not on the same page. So because they've opened it, one person is living their best life and the other one is emulating that because he doesn't want to feel jealous or like he's not a part of it or that he's not, you know, contributing to the promise of being in an open relationship. And so this causes dysfunction because they're not on the same beat.
Agreed.
These parties happen often, and usually the gay stereotypical life, again, air quotes, is I work Monday to Friday, Friday night to Saturday morning, or sorry, Sunday morning. I'm gone off my tits. I take the rest of the Sunday to recover, and I barely make it to work on Monday. And the cycle repeats. And then sometimes they go to different countries. The same people are in the same countries and situations, and then they do the same thing.
Sounds exhausting.
So it becomes a cycle. And so when the gays get to about my age, late 30s, early 40s, some of them experience a midlife gay crisis, which happens a little earlier than what a heterosexual man does,
Right.
because our looks tend to be at the forefront of our kind of being. Especially these type of gays. They work so hard to look so chiseled and beautiful that they're slightly overlooking the inside growth.
Right.
So there's a detachment between inside maturity and growth and what they look like on the outside.
Right.
On the outside, they look like Amazonian kings, right? Or Caucasian royalties. I call them the Volturi gays, right? For those that watch Twilight. But on the inside, they're barely on their mid-20s.
Right.
Barely.
Yeah.
So this is the problem. So how, you're both straight, so this is going to give great perspective.
Right.
Kane, how do you see this going? Because they've been together for 16 years, married for a few, 4 years ago, 9 years, excuse me, 4 years ago, one of them has said, I want to open this relationship and I don't find you sexy anymore sometimes. How do you navigate that space? Or how
Well,
did you help him?
It's got to not be very nice being told that you're not found sexy anymore.
No.
Right? But then also you have to take a look at yourself and go, am I putting in the same amount of effort as I used to? Have I let myself go? Maybe, you know, that happens in
So
relationships.
basically, has the man you fell in love with changed on the outskirts?
Yes. As if talking about the man who...
Got told?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, he's not... doesn't groom himself like he used to, especially if aesthetics and how they appear is such an important thing in this environment or in this community. You know, have you stopped caring? That's one way to assess it. Another thing would be, you've been together 16 years. Communicate. 16 years. If you've been with someone 16 years and you can't have an honest and open conversation, why are you together?
Well, it's weird you say that because I completely agree with you, but I think,
too.
you know, playing devil's advocate, if the 39-year-old or the older one in the relationship has gone and said, I want to open this relationship and I don't think you're sexy, I'm sure it just wasn't that black and white. That's him communicating his feelings.
I think it was him who communicated.
Where'd you go from here? You
You
know
have
what I
to
mean?
communicate back.
You now, just what I was
Response.
that was gonna be my thing.
Right.
You now have to communicate back because your husband was actually open and communicated with you. Be that as it may, it might have hurt your feelings. It was his truth, and I think we don't know how he said it. We just know that would sound harsh no matter how you say it.
Of
I
course.
don't
But-
think there's a nice way to say that.
I think there is a nice way, but I don't
There's
think
not-
you're going to
there's
receive
not
it
a nice way
nicely.
to receive it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think I'm really big on say hard things, but say it well.
Yeah.
You got harsh things to say, but find the best way to say it. So let's assume that this was said in a way that hurt his feelings, because he hasn't said, oh, he said it and he was really rude about it. He's just said what he said and said that hurt my feelings. But in actual fact, he still wants to work on being in his marriage and making it work. He then needs to communicate that to his husband,
Right.
not just us. It's all well and good you asking us, but in actual fact, are you communicating that to your husband? Are you saying, listen, I understand what you're talking about. I'm no saint. We've all played this part and blah, blah, blah,
Right.
so on and so forth. However, this is where I'm at. So you've said you're at opening this up and you don't find me as sexy and as attractive anymore. This is where I'm at. You were very open and honest with me and I appreciate that. Me, where I'm at, this is it. I want to actually close this off, if that's what it is. I don't know. But by the sounds of it, it's like, I just want my husband back. Say it. See it, say it, sorted.
Oh, nicely done. Come on, D.
Oh, for those international viewers and listeners, that is what we hear on the tube or the metro every day. That's the theme song. Listen, you're both saying great points, but
Yeah.
you know what's difficult in this situation? I've been on the circumference of open relationships,
Right.
and 2 polyamorous relationships, and I'm sorry, they just don't work.
Right.
And the reason why they don't work is because you're expecting me, while I'm beating this drum, the drum, one stick is yours, one stick is mine. And the whole point is that we're beating the same song, the same tune, the same tempo. And eventually, highs and lows, it might go quicker or slower. And now we're bringing other entities or more flexibility. What if you were my man, for example, Dwayne, and I've said open relationship, but on that Tuesday, I needed you. And you're like, oh, I've got a date with someone. I have to let you do that. That's going to do something to me because I don't have access to my man anymore. I can communicate with you.
Yes.
That I would like you to stay and whatever. But usually what I see in these relationships is don't see, don't tell type of structure.
So that's where it goes south, you're saying?
Yes, because the thing is, it's like, for you to not be sexually attracted, I'm going to presume before I get to this, I'm going to presume that both gentlemen are in good physique because the parties they seem to go to, it says
That's what's on the bottle.
Right.
Right.
But if my man told me after so long that I'm not sexually attractive anymore, obviously it's going to hurt. But like you, Kane, I'm going to think, what is my contribution to that? Because if I've let myself go, or if I've stayed complacent within the bedroom of how I service my man outside the bedroom, then obviously he's not going to find me attractive anymore because he's bored. So I would have to open up. So whatever your name is, I'm going to say, let's open up, but go back. You not being attracted to me does not warrant you opening this relationship because that's an excuse and you're escaping the reason, which is supposed to be me. You and me till death do us part. And I hope that when you said those vows, that's what you meant. But because these parties you go to, you're around promiscuous energy, you're around flexibility, and you're around open relationships, you now think that that's going to be the antidote or the reason or a situation that you now have to live through.
But they created that.
I know, but it's very monkey see, monkey do.
I know, but they both
I've been in
created
situations to this day when I say that my partner and I are in a monogamous relationship. The looks! People are like, it's almost like, oh, you're one of those. Oh, like, really? How's that working out for you? And I'm sitting there and I'm like going, I'm clocking you. I've been clocking you. Or sometimes I know these people and I'm like, you're not okay with this. Your type of personality is not okay with this. You're doing it for the other person or because it's follow fashion.
Yeah.
And because you have the gay Peter Pan syndrome. And when you see these beautiful creatures, you can't just be like, oh my God, when I was single, I would have devoured you. And then moved along.
Simple.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Just enjoy the
Exactly.
the
Window shop.
window
Yeah.
shop and keep it moving.
Because I think, and I've said this in another episode, that you have to exercise control.
Yeah.
You can't just want it and take it. It's not like that. And amazing if you're privileged enough to do that in any aspect of your life. But I do think exercising control, especially in the construct of a marriage, is such a beautiful testament.
His husband's gonna have to want to do that because his husband has
Precisely.
already made it clear where he stands.
Precisely.
So my point is, it goes back to you communicating where you stand.
Agreed. So communicate with your man. Go back to the source where the source for me was when he told you were unattractive. Let's open that space. You're going to maybe hear some things you don't want
Just
to.
so we're aware that there is a difference. Just cutting in here, Cisco. Although I don't think he said he was attractive. He said he's not attracted to him anymore. That doesn't mean that he's not attractive.
Oh, totally. Sexually.
You
right.
know what I mean?
Totally. You're right.
I've just lost my attraction to you.
So you know what I mean? For me, if it's like, what does that mean to you and why? Hard
Exactly.
truths. But if you can't change it, and if it means that you are compromising yourself and your self-value, then guess what? Even marriages sometimes have an expiration date. Because what's happening
100%.
now is you're always going to be at the disadvantage. And what's a shame, this man, I don't know you, but this man that you've worked so hard to be, imagine at this point with the love of your life, the person that's supposed to be the safest, that's supposed to be home, is the person that dismantles you, even without him being purposely forceful or malicious, and completely derails you. And now in your late 30s, you become the biggest mess and you go downhill. Why? Because you're never enough. You don't think you're sexy. You don't think this and you don't think that. And you think you have to be in an open relationship to sustain happiness. Don't do it. Go back, communicate, set boundaries. And if he's not willing to set these boundaries or at least meet you more than halfway, because you can't be in a losing battle here. You have to be heard and seen. There has to be compromise. And if he's not ready to do that, the question is, do you still want to be in this relationship? Because if you're in this
100.
relationship, in this marriage for safety, then I'm not the man for you. And that is going to take so much courage. But hopefully you have enough people around you to be like, I got you. We're going to catch you through this season, but you deserve better.
Standard.
Because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
You got to know who you are.
Yes. And I hope that even though there's so much more nuances to this situation, just because it's fashion to do that doesn't mean you have to do it. And just because you've been married for more than 10, 20 years or whatever it is, it doesn't mean that communication stops. Provoke the communication. Ask for the truth because you deserve it. I don't need to know you to know that you deserve it. And for the other man, if you happen to be watching this, the one that asked for the open relationship, careful. Because yes, you're entitled to ask for that, but is it really worth it? What you have grown with this person, this house, this home, is it worth losing that just because you want to get your willy wet in other places? It's not worth it. Trust me, from someone that's been an outlooker a lot
That's
of times
got his willy wet a couple times.
It's never worth it because you know what? We're all going to look like a shriveled raisin in a few years. And what a shame when you look left and right and you've got nothing because you wanted to be Peter Pan instead of being like, that's my man. Oh, Nicki Minaj.
Man,
bars. Man like
gave
Cisco.
bars, you know.
I used to be in So Solid. No, I'm joking.
You really wasn't.
But to be quite honest, that was quite easy, that one.
It was.
Because I think we agree, communication, don't take shit, know your worth, and if it needs to be the chop, then chop it off. Not his thing. I'm just doing
Yeah,
chop it.
don't do that. Yeah.
What's the lesson for you, Mr. Kane?
Say what you mean what you say, but do it with kindness.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to say it again. Communicate, communicate, communicate.
My message is never let your self-worth be compromised by someone else, especially not a man. I always say give 70% to your relationship because that 30% needs to be for yourself just in case you need to push that eject button and keep it moving. Because if it ain't for you, it isn't for you.
Lord
Good
of His
luck.
mercy.
I hope that this helped. And I hope that anyone in this type of situation can learn that, yes, it's okay to have some flexibility. But if you're married, for goodness sakes, grow old together. Be tender with each other. Be happy with what you have because some people do not have the luxury of finding a happily ever after.
He's so romantic.
I am. I love love. And on that note, keep it real without the spiel, my friends.
No.
I hate you both.
Yeah, of course you do.